They looked awesome. And I know, Key, they got a big schedule coming up. We could pick up our heads. They could be 2-3 and after 5 games. Like, you never know. But do you think, Key, that the quality of their play is enough so far to at least start asking the questions, play a little talk radio for the fans?
You already trying to tee me up with the play a little talk radio.
Yeah.
Please help me out here, Key.
I just don't want Key to be like, nothing to see here. Please disperse. Nothing to see here.
That's what I said yesterday on the call, by the way.
So is it too early to ask? Is the quality of this team an undefeated team? Are they that good? Are they so good that you could ask they could possibly run the table?
I don't know that they're that good to be able to run the table. And I know you say play radio. It's hard to play radio, Max, when you look at the schedule.
Yep.
Because it's interesting that I didn't even, obviously, clearly, I didn't even know we were having this conversation because I didn't get a chance to join the call with you guys yesterday. But I actually talked to Brandon Beam, the general manager of the Buffalo Bills, yesterday. And we were just having a conversation about the football team and just where they were at. And they're going down to Miami. And as a good general manager, and Brandon would say, is they got a good team. We got a good team, but we're going to figure out, who's better, and we're going to go one game at a time type situation. I think they have an opportunity to do something special in Buffalo. Just talking to him, I don't have a sense that that's something that's on their radar about being undefeated, because there's only one team in the history of the National Football League in 1972 in a 14-game season where a team went from wire to wire, and that was the Miami Dolphins.
Well, let's say regular season because the Patriots did it. I mean, and it's 17 games. It's a crazy thing to do. But
17 games now. Yeah. At the time when the Dolphins did it was 14
But the Patriots did it with 16 games. They just didn't win the Super Bowl.
The Patriots did it with 16. In fact, Max, you'll be proud of me. I was at the Giant New England game in I guess it was MetLife. That's what it was. Yeah, MetLife at the time when they went 16-0, the last game of the year. I happened to be at that game, sitting up there with some Giant folk. But I don't think they can do it. They have the team, but it's just so hard, Max. And when you get to a point of 12-0, I clinched the division. I'm the number 1 seed. I'm 13-0. I'm 14-0. Now you're starting to get focused in on the task at hand, which is the Super Bowl. You're not worried about a regular season record because, as I said before, there's only one team that's ever done it and won it all, and that was the Dolphins. The New England Patriots tried it, but that didn't go so well in the end.
Every time I hear any media person talk about undefeated or any family member or friend, I'm like, get out of here. I don't want to hear it. Like, I'm not in it to be undefeated. I'm in it to win a championship. My sophomore year, we started off 12-0. People start, well, what do you guys got? 3 top 10 picks on your team. Look at the schedule. Look soft. Maybe there's a chance you can run through the gauntlet of the ACC. I'm like, I'm not focused on that. That is a distraction. If we get there, it great. But, the Pats got there, and they lost in the Super Bowl, and it's the one stain on their resume where you're like, it doesn't matter unless you win the whole thing.
What I'm asking really, guys, because I don't think listen, the odds are so against it.
No,
they could look up and lose 3 games in the next 4. They got a tough schedule.
Team. They have the makeup of a team that could do it. It's probably not going to happen.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
But that's what I'm asking.
We said it last year about the Chiefs. So we're like, the Chiefs have the makeup of a team.
I never felt.
Yeah,
they
but
had the quality.
you didn't. But multiple people at our network did.
But they didn't.
They said
have
it.
Defense. This is what I'm like. Okay.
No, they can't. They can, Max. There's no question about it. They can do it. They got the makeup of the team. They got the quarterback. They got the receiver that I interviewed yesterday, and Stephon Diggs when I was on First Take. They got a defense in Von Miller. They got some shutdown corners. They got a running game that needs to come to life with Zach Moss and Singletary that I think at some point can. They certainly do. They got home field advantage type situation with the Bills Mafia. They got all the makings of a situation that could go undefeated. It's just hard as hell to do. There's no question about it because when you get there, you start thinking about what ifs. What if somebody gets hurt in week 15 trying to chase an unnecessary, meaningless record, so to speak?
Right. No, he hit on it just now, Jake. He did. What I'm really asking is there's some teams, and I'll pick 2 that didn't win the Super Bowl, okay? Patriots who lost to the Giants in 2007. and Greatest Show on Turf that lost to the Patriots.
Yep.
But those are teams and so forget about the playoffs and everything.
They were the greatest show. What you mean the greatest show on turf that lost to the Patriots?
The Rams team that lost to the Patriots.
But they wasn't undefeated.
No, I know they weren't undefeated, but I know I'm making a separate point. But I'm saying, like, I'm thinking of teams that I'll always remember whether or not they won the Super Bowl. So that team wasn't undefeated, the Greatest Show on Turf, and they lost the Super Bowl even. But during the season, they were flying so high that you could ask the question. I don't remember what their record was early, but like, damn, who could mess with these guys? They're special. The Bills are already giving you that feeling a little bit.
I don't know the exact year, but if you go back to the Indianapolis Colts, that I think they finished at 14-2.
Yep.
They were at a 12-0, 13-0 type situation. But Coach Tony Dungy was more worried about the Super Bowl than chasing a meaningless regular season record, so to speak. And he decided to start sitting guys, and they wind up, they went from a Peyton Manning situation with an artist to a guy that was a painter. They kind of went to a whole nother deal, and they wind up losing those games. And some of the players on that team wanted to. We always would, like, if we right there within reach of it, of course you want to go undefeated. But
know why, Key? In the case of the NFL, football is king, right? We all agree it's the number one sport in the country, right?
Absolutely.
If you go undefeated as an NFL team, like I just said, Aaron Judge might have the greatest season of all time. If you go undefeated as an NFL team and win the Super Bowl, the whole brand of your franchise will change forever. You will be known as the greatest team that ever did. Like, that's the number one team in the history of American sports.
The Denver Broncos in 1998 had a chance to do it.
Right.
And they lost to the Giants. They lost to the Giants in, like, I feel like it was week 14.
Giants ruining everybody's perfect record.
I think it was week 14, and I think they went 15-1 that year.
Could.
We wind up playing them. We wind up playing them. I think they were 15-1, and I think we wind up playing them in the AFC Championship game.
But that's why you hear coaches focus on one game at a time, because like as an athlete, you're taught to train yourself about your next opponent, not your next 15 opponents on the opportunity to go undefeated.
That's the interesting thing about college football, right? College football now, you have to go undefeated to win a national title. 2 years from now, when they put in the 12 teams, you won't have to go undefeated to win a national title. You can lose a couple games and still peak at the end of the season and wind up being the national champion with a couple losses.
You might have 3 losses and win a national title.
Yeah, maybe.
12,
I guess it just depends on who. Yeah, I guess you could have. Maybe you could have 3 losses and still be the national champion. But my whole point is, you can afford to lose 2-3 years from now when they put this in play. Right now, you got to go wire to wire. College is way different than the NFL in terms of going undefeated.
One day, a team will go undefeated and win the Super Bowl. But that day may not be today, right? It may not be the Bills. I'm just wondering, man. They look really good.
So many things have to go right, man.
So many. It's a long shot. Why hasn't
Max put it out there? They're going undefeated.
Why hasn't it clicked for the Bengals so far this season? And is it too early for the defending AFC champs to start panicking? One team's going undefeated. One team's panicking.